Hey guys, what's up? This is Brandon Rieger here, and today I'm going to bring you a deck profile from a 29-man Edison tournament that happened in Louisville, Kentucky. That's definitely how you say it, Louisville. Yeah, so I was victorious. I brought Twilight, which is been an up-and-coming deck. There was a Twilight that had a really good performance at RBET Chicago. Shout out to everyone that went to that. So the pricing was a box of Stampede, which retails for about $120-ish. All of top 8 got this, plus my winning card, which was a CP Bestiari. I just really wanted to showcase this to you guys because I thought I brought a cool deck. It wasn't your standard birds like you guys typically think that I play. And I managed to win. And the deck is pretty cool, I guess. I play with a lot of like unique cards, misprints, things like that. And it's full of some max rarity stuff as well. Just wanted to showcase everything here in my building thoughts. So obviously the main purpose of playing this deck is you get to play all the cool boss monsters. So really it's double JD, right? And then the Dark Arm Dragon. So you're playing the light and dark package, and the count really does matter. So we'll get into more of that. Continuing the boss monsters, we have Gores, and then Tragodia. And Tragodia is really tricky. A lot of people try to cut this card. One of my games, I had a really funny play where I had a JD in hand, and the opponent summoned an Ab-Zero. And I took the Ab-Zero next turn with the surviving JD, pitching that for the Tragodia effect. So I just basically had a big, 2500 beat stick on the board that kind of forced the other player to out their own card, which is awesome. And then within the same tournament, against a Christia Sworn player, I actually stole a Christia with this card. So this is definitely one of the trickier like MVPs that stole games, just like it stole their boss monsters. So we'll continue with the bosses. Chaos Sorcerer, this is nothing short of an amazing card. Being able to be easy to get out in this deck, but then also you can make some plague plays. So I made some synchros and all that kind of stuff, which doesn't typically come up, but since he's level 6, he's in there. Then for the Lightsworns, we have 3 of the best ones. So we have Lila, almost called her Lumina. And then we have the 3 Raikou. And then we have Lumina. So again, just these are the 1 count. Lumina, Arcus, Aaron, Jane. We have Gareth. And then we have Celestia. And Celestia was also an MVP. Being able to bring her back from Monster Reincarnation, utilizing a special summon wolf, which is pretty neat. Happens a lot. Just getting value off this guy. And this is basically the reason why I won. I milled a ton of wolf when I needed to, but then also like when I didn't need to, but just when I saw him, I was basically winning the game. This is a free summon. It gave me free board presence, and it basically allows you to plus on the board with your end phase Lila that you start with, or the Aaron or Jane. It just makes your presence more powerful. And then when they're staring down 2 monsters and fearing Honest, that is when you're pushing for game, and games tend to end very quickly. And that's kind of how people get frustrated playing against this deck, which I understand. But yeah, just get good, mill wolf. And I opened a ton of wolf. So here's the thing. I only had 1 game where I opened double wolf, so I consider myself lucky with yesterday's performance. But I opened a ton of wolf, and like I drew into wolves, but they were never dead. I was able to pitch them with Bryanak, I was able to pitch them with Solar Recharge very commonly. You get value out of your cards. You don't necessarily, while playing this deck, need to have cards that do all the stuff, right? You just need to have cards in hand, and if you play this deck knowing that the cards in hand are a resource and you don't overextend and you just play patiently, you're going to be able to capitalize and just slowly just beat your opponent down. And that's what I did. And then moving into the dark package, so we have Plague Spreader Zombie, we have Necro Gardna. These two are really, really great. Then we have a main deck Kaiku. This is a really cool card. Vayu Turbo is still very, very popular, probably considered the most popular deck. Just being able to run over a Greffer or an Armageddonite and basically just pitching their Gardna that they hit. The Floodgate definitely does matter because you can definitely summon this card, and then all of a sudden you're protected from DD Crow, you're protected from some of the other banish effects, and you're able to freely monster Reincarnation under this card and Avarice without any sort of pressure. So definitely a really good MVP. I might even consider playing two if I know going into the event that I'm going to expect a lot of value or things like that. And then DD Crow. So I played two DD Crow, and the meta is just really, really good right now for DD Crow being able to just slow opponents down. Like even crowing a Treeborn, slowing that frog deck down, no matter which variant, is really good. You know, forcing their next play to be another play where they have to bring Swap Frog back out and send another Treeborn, which is nice. But more commonly used for end phase necroing, hitting Plague. Like I always tried to hold this card and used it when it mattered. But yeah, just a lot of applications with this card, and being able to manipulate your dark count for Sorcerer and Dark Arm Dragon is really, really good. So I'm playing two of that, and then more hand traps is we have two Honests coming in. And then we have the Honorary Lightsworn, we have the Card Trooper. And then this card, I know this is a very similar list to the Twilight that topped or won RBET Chicago. I basically just swapped their 10th Dark for a main deck Cyber Dragon to just kind of help speed up the deck a little bit. It definitely came in clutch. Like playing this card is a really good card. Even though this is not a typical deck to play Beckoning Light where the light count matters. But just being able to speed the deck up and be a bigger body to take down some of the bigger cards. Like, for instance, I was staring down a Lad. My opponent had a Lad and an Ab-Zero next to it. I was basically able to special this out, normal summon Plague, okay, bait one of the effects of Lad so that it went down to 2,300, and then I made Black Rose, and I was able to beat over the Lad, and it was at 23 to the Black Rose was 24, and then it basically blew his board up, and he had like a set card as well. So I managed to, like, without Cyber Dragon, without anything like to pair with Plague, that play would not have been possible. I probably would have lost that game. So now we have the spells. So obviously the 3 Solar Recharges, right? And the Charge the Light Brigade. Just my favorite card and the whole reason to play this deck. Once you start milling, all of these become resources. Like I've brought back DD Crow, I've brought back Honest, I've brought back Kaiku, I brought back a Celestia to convert off my Lightsworn names on the field. And then obviously just bringing back JD, like just throwing out a JD and then be like, oh, let me just bring one back if it's, if it somehow gets removed from the field by a Bottomless or a Torrential or something like that. Just forcing out that back row and just going really heavy into that turn. There's not a whole lot that can stop double JD in a turn. And but this deck, or this card does lose to Crow pretty heavily, so you just kind of have to watch when you play this, you kind of have to just know and have baited out a possible Crow with like Lumina or some of the other effects. But yeah, 2 Rieger, Avarice, amazing recursion. I would never play 2 because it can brick, and obviously your main strategy is to get cards in the graveyard. But this is a great way to put cards back. You draw. This deck has a really hard time drawing. So yeah, got to play the 1. And then obviously the Heavy Storm, gotta love that. And then I played 1 Allure because there's 9 darks in here, and sometimes you can pull this off, but sometimes I ended up siding this out as well because the darks are really good. So, but yeah. And then we have just 2 trap cards. We have Mirror Force and Trap Dust Shoot, and these are pretty self-explanatory. So cool. Well, that's the main deck. And let's get into the sideboard. Actually, we'll do extra deck first. Very standard. Comes up, always play this. You have a lot of room in this deck, so just being able to play all the best ones. You most commonly go into Brio with pairing a Plague with a level 4. This came up. I made this in finals. Has never come up for me, but I know it has for some people, so I'm going to play it as well as hoping that it wins me a game. Again, same mentality. Black Rose Dragon definitely won me a game. This is a really good card. And with the Cyber Dragon pairs really well. Can really make that with the Lumina, Raikou, and Plague as well. So really easy to access level 7. And we have Stardust. I never actually made Stardust, but it's a really good card to protect a JD play. And just like use JD as a beat stick. Dark End did come up. I used Plague and Sorcerer to hit a set card to like, I just had so much resources, so much gas that it didn't really matter. I didn't want to risk losing my board or pressure to a Raikou, so I made this and ended up panning out. I won the game. Didn't come up, but definitely works against the mirror match and other decks running around like plants and shit like that. So, and then we have Thought Ruler. Didn't come up as well. Didn't come up, but he's huge, and also didn't come up, but he's awesome. And I thought about making him one time. And then sideboard, so you guys are going to hate me. I played a lot of one-ofs here, and it's, I don't know. That's just how I'm playing this deck, I guess. Everything's a resource, so, like, I don't want to play multiples of the monsters unless I, like, really need to. But then also, like, the trap and spells, like, I really just don't need to see multiples again. I just don't want to brick on them. So here we go. I have the second Cyber Dragon, which even if I went second, I really didn't opt to bring this in. I was going to bring a second one in if I played against Glads or Machina, but I didn't see any of that. I'll shoo this away here. Again, for Glad Beasts and like a hero variants, stopping them from adding any deck that like adds a lot, like maybe Diva Hero, that would come in. This is a menace. I side the second one in against Frog variants. They can't Raigeki break, which is very common. They can't Caius, and I just played very minimal game state. So that and I only brought this out like if I basically had Honest or if I bluffed Honest, and it really worked out. And then if they don't answer this, they fear Celestia and like extension my next turn. This came in. Many people think that multiples are coming in, but just playing the one because, again, I want my normal summon to be a Lightsworn and other good cards. This doesn't really progress my game state at all, but it stops them, and it's also a DDB target, so I try to think about that when I build my side deck game plans. I needed more removal from pesky cards like Floodgates, like Christia. This also came in going second against like Black Wings and Mirror Match. This was a last second include, and I'm glad I included it because It really just picks off the opponent's monsters. I don't really want to leave them with much. And it's a card that like I don't need to go in my battle phase to get rid of a card. So definitely, I really like the idea of removal. Soul Release. I love this card against Mirror Match. Didn't really bring it in against Vayu or anything else. Just the Mirror Match is good. Maybe Frogs. And then My Body. So anytime that I feared any kind of removal, I would play this. I thought it came up, but I tried to. I had a set Raikou, and I tried to activate this, and I found out that was an illegal activation. Even if I had that Raikou face down on the board, I have to control a face-up card to activate this. So it would have came up, but did not. But in theory, really, really good. I would never cut that. Lightning Vortex, gotta have it. This same mentality as Smashing Ground, only it uses 2 hand resources instead of 1. And sometimes I would side both of them in. The sided MST, so this is brought in against like Vayu and most predominantly like Black Wings, and also I sided out heavy to include MST because I want to on the end phase hit chainable traps against like Frogs, for example. So I opt to play this because like heavy doesn't do anything, especially when they're playing like Frog Monarch, like the very low trap counts. Just heavy's just bad. And then Mind Control, this really only came in against any decks that were playing like Raikou, Hamster, notably Vayu Turbo. Came in, sometimes I even sided 1 in, so that's kind of weird. But I did opt to play 2 Royal Decrees. Stops traps, really good. Bottomless, any deck that like needed their normal summon or it got insane value off of like summoning big monsters, I wanted this in. So like I even included it because nobody expected it in like versus the Frog matchup or versus Christia Swarm, just because like they don't expect it to be a bottomless. So I kind of want to throw them off. This was an auto include against Frogs. That's pretty much it. Stop summons, really, really good. You can really sit on this to stall until you have all your pieces to make a big push. And then this was kind of cute. Didn't really come up, but any deck post like game 1 where they're siding in a bunch of like hate for like DD Crow or Soul Release, I sided this in because I thought it would be cute, but I didn't pull any cuteness off. But that's the deck. Hope you liked it. It's nothing new, but if you guys are bored and want to try a Lightsworn variant and want to play some really sick boss monsters, I definitely recommend playing Twilight. So thanks again, guys, for watching, and look out for some more content.